Welcome everyone. In this lecture, we are going to see about the testing of hypothesis. So in this, we will discuss about the sampling distribution, estimation of parameters, statistical hypothesis, large sample test based on normal distributions for single mean and difference of mean, variance and proportion. First of all, what is population? A population consists of a collection of individual units, which may be persons or experimental outcomes, whose characteristics are to be studied. This population may be finite or infinite, but sample is a finite subset of statistical individuals in a population is called a sample. Then what is sampling? The process of drawing a sample from a population is called the sampling. Sample size means the number of items selected in the sample space is called the sample size, and it is denoted by small n. Here, depending upon the n value, we are speaking about the large sample test or small sample test. If n is greater than 30 means it is a large sample test, and n less than or equal to 30 means it is the small sample space. Okay, next we are going to see about the sampling distribution. It means all possible samples of given size are taken from the population, and for each sample, the statistic is calculated. The values of this statistic form is sampling distribution. Next, level of significance. It is the probability level below which the null hypothesis is rejected. Generally, we will take the level of hypothesis or level of significance for 1% or 5%. 1% means its value 0.01 and 5% means its value 0.05. Next, we are going to see about null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. This is very, very important one. Null is represented in H0 and alternate hypothesis represented in H1. So null hypothesis is the hypothesis tested for possible rejection under the assumption that it is true, usually called null hypothesis. And it reflects there is no significant difference between the calculated value and the tabulated value, and it is denoted as H0. Alternate means which reflects the situation which is negotiated to the null hypothesis. It is usually denoted as H1. Okay, so generally H0 we will consider mu equal to mu naught. Mu is the population mean and mu naught is the specified mean. Next in this, we will study about the two-tailed test and one-tailed test. This one we have to fix it based on the alternate hypothesis. If alternate hypothesis values means not equal means it is two-tailed test, or else the alternate hypothesis means either it is greater than or less than single occurs means it is one-tailed test. So the population greater than the specified mean means it is right-tailed test, and the population mean less than specified mean means it is one-tailed, and generally it is left-tailed test. Critical region, it is very, very important thing in the testing of hypothesis. It is also known as region of rejection. See the curve. For large sampling test, we are dealing with the normal distribution, right? So normal distribution means we have spoke about the bell-shaped curve. So in this curve, that bell-shaped part is the accepted region, and the tailing part is the rejected region. This tailing part is called the critical region. This 5% represents the level of significance. That 5% is divided in both the negative x-axis and the right x-axis as equal dividends. That is 5% is equal means 2.5%, 2.5%. That value is 0.25 and 0.25. That is equally split with respect to x-axis. That 5% value is z value is minus 1.96. And z equal, this is positive axis, no? So z value is 1.96. Then notice critical value, the sample value of the statistics beyond which the null hypothesis will be rejected for all the critical values or significant values. And this table we have to remember, this represents the level of significance values of 1% and 5%. If the test is two-tailed means that value is 2.58 and 1.96, and the test is one-tailed means that value is 2.33 and 1.645. Next, we are going to say about type 1 and type 2 error. Error means it represents what is that? Something is going to be correct, but the output is wrong. That is known as error. So the error is classified into two types, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 means rejection of null hypothesis when it is correct. See, our statement is correct, but we reject the null hypothesis. So there may be an error occur. Then what about type 2 error? Acceptance of null hypothesis when it is wrong. The statement is wrong means we will accept the null hypothesis. This is also wrong. So these two are type 1 and type 2 error. Next, we are going to see about how to find the testing of hypothesis to accept or reject null hypothesis. First, to formulate H0 and H1. Next, to choose the level of significance, that is alpha value. This is large sample test now, so we have to compute the Z test using the data available in the problem. Next, pick up the critical value and final conclusion. Critical value means that is our tabulated value. And final conclusion, if calculated value less than tabulated value means we have to accept H0, otherwise we have to reject H0. Thank you.